On the 20th of January 2022, McAllen Police Department were called by a farmer in distress after a dead male was found on his land on the intersection of Wallen Road and McCall Road in Texas. When officers arrived at the scene, a homicide investigation was opened. The McAllen Police Department would go on to notify the Pharr Police Department to join them as the body was found close to their jurisdiction. Within the first day, the dead man was identified as none other than 42-year-old Gabriel Quintanilla, and the mother of his child, along with his stepson, 18-year-old Alejandro Trevino, were taken in for questioning. Throughout questioning, detectives learned that hours before Gabriel was found dead, a fight had taken place at the Buena Vista trailer park involving both Gabriel and Alejandro, along with Alejandro's younger brother and Gabriel's stepson, Christian. You see, the brothers were furious. Their younger sister, Gabriel's daughter, had approached the boys, telling them that her dad had touched her inappropriately at some point prior, so they flipped out and fists were thrown. Gabriel then swiftly left the park and headed down the road of the trailer park, but was soon spotted by Christian, who had been tailing him. He wasn't finished. Once Christian had spotted him near a apartment complex, he made a call to Alejandro and their friend 18-year-old Juan Eduardo Melendez, who arrived in a red Dodge Charger. The three ran up to Gabriel, jumped him, gave him a severe beating, and then fled the scene. It seems then that the boys were finished. They'd felt like some justice had been served. As they were riding home, Alejandro was dropped off, and just when we thought this was over, Christian and Juan, instead of joining him, decided to switch vehicles. They were thirsty for blood. After Alejandro was dropped home, Juan and Christian headed back to Juan's, where they switched to a Ford F-150 truck, ready to hunt Gabriel. Believe it or not, they had spotted him walking southbound on Veterans Boulevard. By this point, he wasn't in the best of ways, battered by the onslaught caused by the boys already. Somehow though, he managed to get to his feet and continued to walk. After approaching, the boys jumped out of the truck, subjected Gabriel to a third attack, this time with brass knuckles. They took turns punching his face in with it. Police would later come out to say the previous two beatings had been nothing like the third one. Gabriel was rendered unconscious but breathing by this point, but the boys didn't flee the scene. They threw him on the bed of the truck they had arrived in and kidnapped him, taking him to the intersection of Wallen Road and McCall Road. Once arriving, Christian dragged him from the truck and robbed him for his jewelry before leaving the scene. He would later be found dead at that exact same location by the farmer. All three boys were charged in relation to the incident. Christian and Juan were charged with capital murder because they had kidnapped and robbed Gabriel, whilst Alejandro was charged with just murder. All three were also charged on aggravated assault and engaging in criminal activity. Since the news broke, however, there's been a public outcry that the boys should be let free, and a change.org petition has since been set up that currently sits on 500,000 signatures. The petition reads, Alejandro, Christian and Juan are facing capital murder charges for beating and killing Gabriel, after discovering that he was actively abusing Alejandro and Christian's 9-year-old sister. The three teenagers are currently in custody and have their bond set at over $1 million each. If convicted of capital murder, they face a minimum sentence of life imprisonment without parole. We ask that the state of Texas release these teenagers who could possibly spend the rest of their lives in prison for protecting their sister. Near enough 3 years prior, on the 17th of May 2019, Pharr police had received a tip-off that a child in an unrelated case had made an outcry that she'd been sexually assaulted over the span of 2014 through to 2016 by none other than Gabriel. Soon after, a warrant was put out for his arrest in relation to continuous sexual assault, but over the preceding weeks, the Pharr Police Department, after actively searching for him, couldn't find him, so he remained wanted. The thing was, though, the next time he was found dead in an open field by a farmer.
Well, first on 10, 3 teens were charged today for the murder of a 43-year-old man We first brought you this story Thursday when Pharr police were searching for suspects after the death of Gabriel Quintanilla. And then on Friday, investigators linked 3 teens. You can see on your screen on the left is 17-year-old Christian Trevino. In the center, 18-year-old Alejandro Trevino. And on the right is 19-year-old Juan Eduardo Melendez. Quintanilla was found in a McAllen field, and police say that several fights broke out at different locations after Quintanilla was accused of touching his 9-year-old daughter, who was also the half-sibling to the Trevino brothers. Quintanilla was left in a field severely beaten.
Investigation revealed that the victim was hurt, beaten with brass knuckles, and suffered severe head trauma at that point. Although the victim was severely beaten, the victim may have still have been alive when he was there at McAllen. We don't know for how long.
A bond has been set at $500,000 for all suspects.